everybody, this is Patricia with through-these-eyes.com, and Lewis and I are on a nice morning ride today.
No, don't lick it, don't lick it. This last part. Gross dog, gross dog, gross dog. Oh shit.
Such a pretty sparkling blue. So today we wanted to talk about traffic stops. Checkpoints. Yeah, we've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on people that get stopped at checkpoints and stuff, and how they respond to the police officers that are simply doing their job. Yeah, we think it's kind of interesting. We have slight different opinions on it, I think. For the most part, we agree, but anyway, most of the people that we've been watching, have their standard responses. What is that, babe? Am I being detained?
Yeah.
Am I free to go?
Yeah. Why are you stopping me?
Well, sir, this is an immigration checkpoint.
They'll say, are you an American citizen? And the man says, that's my business.
Yeah, see, and I'm of the opinion, just answer the damn question, and then you would be free to go.
Well, the thing is, do you have any reason to believe I'm not an American citizen?
Well, my opinion is if they've established a checkpoint on a particular highway or freeway that is an immigration checkpoint, then they do have a reason to believe that many illegals pass through that area. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the checkpoint there. Now, you specifically, maybe not. But in order for them to avoid the whole racial profiling controversy crap, they have to just check at random. So that's why, their reason to believe isn't necessarily with you, the individual, but they need to do their job and try to prevent those crossings or smugglings.
Yeah, but, in America, we have the right, you should be free to travel freely without being stopped and questioned by the state. Unless they have a reason to believe that you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I do agree with that. See, that's where I hold, I'm of both opinions. Like, I agree that you should be able to come and go as you please unless, you are doing something wrong. You're speeding or weaving or, doing something to draw suspicion. Right,
same as the DUI checkpoint. And those checkpoints, those immigration checkpoints were not even at the border. I could see it at the border,
yeah.
but they weren't even at the border.
Yeah, no, they're between...
They were 50 miles from the border.
Yeah, we're on the other side, just outside of San Diego, California.
So...
Yeah.
And so basically, the people were showing that, no, I don't want to stop. I don't want to show you any information. I don't even want to answer your questions, and I don't have to.
Yeah, I applaud them for doing it, for having the guts to do it. I don't know if I could. Yeah, some of the guys that were on those videos though were just being jerks. I can remember one that was very polite, with always the yes or no sir. I'm sorry sir, I don't feel I need to give you that information. Have I done anything to make you believe?
Well, but their point is, why should they be polite? It's impolite to stop somebody for no reason. That's impolite.
No, I can't agree with that one. I mean, because the officers are just doing their job. They're doing what they're told. somebody higher up has designated these areas at these dates and these, you know, so they're just doing their job. You don't need to be an asshole to a police officer that's just, you know, doing what he's told. The guy may not even agree with the policy himself, but he's got a job to do, you know, so...
but then on the other hand, some of the cops were like, how dare you question me?
That is true.
Just do what you're told, you know? Subject.
That's true. Yeah, there's good and bad on each side. Like I said, I mean, you know, yeah, the answer would be to get rid of the checkpoints altogether. And just stop you when, you know, you need to, when you're showing reason to need to be stopped.
Yeah, and the same thing was happening at the DUI checkpoints too. They were like, I'm not answering any questions, you can't search my car, and, you know, I'm not answering any questions without a lawyer.
Yep.
And sometimes they would just put that sign in their window and not even roll down their window. And,
now that's pretty cool.
yeah. And the cop, in a couple instances, the cops just waved them by.
Yep.
They probably just like, uh-oh, this is going to be more problems than it's worth.
Exactly. Just keep going. See, so I say you and I make a sign for our window, because you know we're going to have to stop at a checkpoint today.
Yeah.
Or,
That's an agriculture checkpoint. I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe there's a reason for that.
I say we ask them. I say I bring my camera, and when we're stopped, I'm going to ask them, sir, what specifically are you checking for?
Well, I already know. You're bringing agriculture from out of state, because they're afraid of that fly or whatever, right?
Yeah. But, see, I don't know. And once again, that's not right at the border between Nevada and California, right?
No, it's not. It's a ways in.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, guess what? It's too late. Yeah, I'm carrying the little fly in my trunk back there, sir. I released him 10 miles back. But see, then you can say, do you have any reason to believe that I'm carrying agricultural products, sir?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we're in our car, come on.
Exactly.
Or on a motorcycle.
I'm carrying heads of lettuce in the saddlebags.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's, you know, like I said, that's one of those topics where I don't agree with the stops necessarily, but I don't agree with how some of these guys handle it. You know,
well, it's a setup. That's why they have their cameras on to begin with.
Yeah.
But they're trying to prove a point, and they're trying to educate the viewers on what you can do and what you don't have to do.
Yeah. So I think
Is this?
I think so.
Yeah. So that's all that's about. I mean, they're just trying to prove a point. And, you know, they have their cameras on for that reason. Also, they probably have their cameras on as evidence in case, you know, the police do something wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, that's true.
I like it when the cops tell them, oh, you better turn that camera off. Why? We're in a public place. You know, you're a public official. I think the people have a right to see what you're doing.
Our government tax dollars at work.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, I have a feeling that Chadillac and Armenian have been watching some of these videos, because we recently saw their posting of their ride up to, is it
Pikes Peak in
Pikes Peak? That's
Colorado.
right. Yeah, and they had a nice little incident with the law.
I wanna give a shout out to Armenian, by the way, because Armenian is a friggin' wheelie beast.
Oh, yes, he is.
Wow. Armenian, come to California and show me how to do wheelies, man.
Yeah, because right now, here's our wheelie. Ready, baby? Wheelie time.
1,
2, 3.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, that's a good wheelie. All right.
But anyway, as we were saying,
so Armenian and Chadillac
and about 10 other riders.
Yeah, we're heading up them nice twisties.
Up in Pikes Peak. And, you know, of course, the speed limit is 20 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some of these guys are on friggin' super sports. The super sport can't even stay up at 20 miles an hour. And, you know, so they were passing some cars.
And apparently some cars had issue with that.
Yeah, so somebody called the Rangers on them.
Somebody narked them out.
And this guy pulls over like the whole group of bikers, man. The whole group of them.
Yeah, he was not happy.
But with nothing on any of them. Nothing. Other than he was just angry.
Bunch of hooligans.
And, you know, I don't even think they caught these guys on radar.
No, one of them claimed that they had him on radar, but you saw in the video earlier, you see the ranger just standing there at the corner with his hands on his hips,
Yeah.
watching him go by, so I didn't see a radar gun.
Yeah. And they were like, and he probably radioed up ahead to his buddy, hey, look at all these riders coming, man. Pull them over and yell at them or something like that, and we'll scare them.
Yep.
But, you know, that intimidation method didn't work, and I don't even know if they should have even stopped, because what was he stopping them for?
Well, speeding.
Well, okay.
Or reckless driving, I think. Was
no, but if he's got him for that, then why wasn't he writing tickets?
Yeah, that's true. Well, because he couldn't prove or didn't know exactly which one it was. I think that was really the whole point. I mean, because from what I remember in the video, you see Chadillac in front with Armenian behind, and then all of a sudden somebody goes flying past Chadillac, and that was right at that Ranger point when he first sees the Ranger on the corner, and he's telling Armenian, Ranger. And so I think it was that guy, whoever that was, that pretty much drew attention because he just went flying by. And so by the time they stopped him, you know, who knows who was in what position. So I think that was the point.
But, you know, regardless, even if they were going above 20, which is almost impossible not to do on those bikes, were they causing any kind of traffic hazard? No, I don't think so. But I saw some cars that were like weaving over the yellow lines when they were making corners, making their corners too wide, and that's a traffic hazard. And, you know, man, as motorcycle riders, we face a lot more incidents of people endangering us out here. I mean, you can't even hardly go out for a ride without having some type of a close call with a car.
Especially in California.
But, you know, let a motorcycle rider go 10 miles over the speed limit, and all of a sudden, you know, you're endangering everybody's lives on the road.
Exactly. You're going to cause a mass pileup.
And that's total BS, man. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Got a fire engine here. But,
endangering people on the road.
Yeah, and you know, I think that in itself is dangerous, man. We're going this way. Why is everybody over here stopping?
Exactly.
But
anyway, kudos to Chadillac, or his new name, Lawyer Boy.
Yeah, because he kept telling the Ranger, well, I might have to call my lawyer. And, you know, that, of course, pissed the Ranger off, and he's like, everybody else can leave except Lawyer Boy, and this other guy over here running his mouth. But, of course, he had to let him go because he had nothing on him.
Let him go with a stern warning. No passing on the bendies.
So, I don't know, man. as far as I'm concerned, that in itself is an unlawful stop, and it happens all the time.
It does, and we've just kind of become complacent about it. You know, it becomes normal operations. You're gonna encounter a stop.
You know, I'm in no way, you know, I totally appreciate the good work that all law enforcement people do, but, you know, focus on real issues, man. If you get bored, I don't know, do something else, but
exactly. 'Cause
don't bother people that aren't bothering people, man.
Exactly. Because their job isn't necessarily in, you know, crime prevention. You know, they're there to serve and protect. But nowhere does it say to serve, protect, and prevent.
Well, I mean, I'm not even saying that. Yeah, crime prevention is fine. I have no problem with that.
Well, I mean, prevention in that I'm going to stop you before you're drunk to make sure that you're not drunk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's not their job.
Yeah, and that's a whole political issue.
Well, anyway, so we wanted to give a quick shout out anyway to Armenian and Chadillac there for the way they handled their business, their little encounter with the law. And way to keep a cool head, Armenian.
Yeah, he was kind of keeping Chadillac in check there. Like,
let it go.
Because Chadillac, even after the Rangers were done, Chadillac still wanted to go after one of those Rangers, man. Like, no.
Douche.
Yeah, hey, douche. And I mean, he's like, hey.
Let it go. I'm not going to let it rain on their parade.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty much all we had to talk about today. Just wanted to get that off our chest. But yeah, we're going to be taking a little trip here soon, and we already anticipate having that checkpoint that we're going to have to go through coming back. So Vegas, baby. All right, maybe if I'm not having too much fun, I might make a little hello video from Vegas. So that's probably when you'll see us next, people. All right, everybody, so get out there and ride, enjoy life, get out there and do something. So this has been Patricia with through-these-eyes.com and Lewis at the helm. And if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next video. Bye. Bye. How is it that even when riding without a jacket, you still can get sweaty armpits?
I don't know. I don't believe I do.